Hello there, IELTS students. Welcome to IELTS Podcast. You no longer have to worry, fret or panic about IELTS because we are here to guide you through this test jungle. Enjoy these IELTS tutorials, and if you need more help or want to access the famous online course, you can visit us at IELTSPodcast.com.
Hello there, IELTS students. Thank you for choosing to listen to this tutorial from IELTSPodcast.com. My name's Daphne, and today I'm going to follow up on a great podcast Ben did recently, detailing the 4 criteria used for marking IELTS Task 1 essays. We're going to review a student's band 6.5 bar chart, Task 1, and see how we could get this up to a band 7. So in this tutorial, I want to help you choose the right information to include in your Task 1 essay, use the right sentence structures, and we're going to focus on superlatives and comparatives because these are the most important things in this Task 1, decide on the perfect tense to use, and how best to organise the information in your response. You can see the full essay on the website, which will make it much easier for you to follow my comments. And following on from Ben's podcast, I've colour-coded each of my corrections and recommendations to make sure they correspond really easily to the British Council IELTS band grade marking criteria. As you know, there are 4 areas of assessment: task achievement, so we've done it in red, coherence and cohesion in blue, lexical resource in green, and grammatical range and accuracy in purple. Okay. So this is a bar chart, and the task instruction says, summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and make comparisons where relevant. Now, even though you only have 20 minutes to complete task 1, and we know that task 1 carries less marks than task 2, we strongly suggest that you take a few minutes to examine, really look at the bar chart or graph and make sure you've understood the question and thought about your answer before you start writing. So personally, I like to take a pencil and I circle the main features. What are the biggest differences? What are the highest and the lowest numbers, for example? And then I can look back to that as I'm answering the task. So let me describe this bar chart to you. If you're listening only, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, but I'll do my best to kind of bring this alive for you. And let's look at the student's first sentence. So the title of the graph is Movie Preference of Young Adults Worldwide. This is actually one of the bar charts on our course. It's on the Extra Writing Pack course. And it is a horizontal bar chart, to be precise, with 6 types of film listed on the y-axis, and on the x-axis are numbers ranging from 1 to 160. That's the number of people. Each film genre has a blue bar for male preferences and a pink for female. No year is given, so you'll see we're going to use a mixture of present and past tenses. So the first sentence is really a description of what we can see. So the student's written here, the bar chart illustrates the preferred movie genre of young adults, both males and females, from all over the world. So this is a good start. This tells me what I'm looking at, and I think the student's done a pretty good job trying to paraphrase some of the key words from the title. Paraphrasing means saying the words in a different way. It's really, really important that where you can in task 1 and in task 2, you paraphrase. I know it's not always possible in task 1, but it is important as a principle to paraphrase, which shows the examiner that you have got a good lexical range. So here, instead of movie preference, the student's written preferred movie genre, which is nice. And instead of worldwide, they've used from all over the world. So that's a nice way of scoring a few points for lexical resource. However, I think we could probably do this a bit better. How about the horizontal bar chart illustrates the 6 types of films which young men and women globally like to watch. So I've included how many films there are, and I've included information on exactly what kind of bar chart it is. And for me, this sentence will be more effective in paraphrasing in a very natural way, and it will be more like a Band 7 first sentence. So we've added some more specific detail. Let's go into the next section, which is the overview, the overall sentence. As you know, we need to present a clear overview in order to be awarded a Band 7. Now, there's two ways of organising these task ones. Personally, I prefer to do intro sentence, overall comments, and 2 short paragraphs. However, you can do it another way. You can put your intro, then your 2 more detailed paragraphs, and your overall at the end. It almost sometimes depends if you're really running short of time. If you're running short of time, then you might be better to put the detail in and just leave the overview for the end. Otherwise, go intro, overview, and the 2 detailed paragraphs. This student actually placed the overview at the end, but because, as I say, I prefer to have it at the beginning, I've moved it. Here we go. So overall, what stands out from the graph is that although comedy was the type of movie of choice for both groups, the contrast observed in romance films was dramatic, with the female viewership amounting to almost 4 times that of males. It's a super long sentence. There's some really great stuff here. There would be good scores for the connecting word, although, which is a nice way of kind of concession. So that's grammatical range. Nice points for lexis in the phrase both groups, and for using 2 really powerful contrasting comparative structures, which would be the contrast observed in and amounting to almost 4 times that of males. Okay, so really, really nice work there on the comparative structures. So you've got the contrast observed in romance films, actually should be romantic films, and amounting to almost 4 times that of the males, which is a really, really nice way to do a comparison. So good stuff there. What I don't really like is the use of males and females. As for me, men and women just sounds more natural. And I think the student shouldn't use the description graph for this picture, but instead of repeating bar chart, could have said diagram or image. But otherwise, very, very good overall paragraph. The next paragraph goes into a bit more detail. So starts with, focusing on the male public, it can be noted that comedy and action were the all-time favourites at 145 and 137 respectively. So now we see the students decided to organise the detailed comments into men and women, which is logical and quite a sensible way to do it. And there's some nice lexis here too. So for lexical range, we've got male public. Now I'm okay with male as an adjective, so we've got male public. All-time favourite, which is really nice. I like that. And Ben's favourite word, respectively, which is used perfectly in this sentence. So let me read that to you again. 145 and 137 respectively. So that's perfect. There's some great grammar here, starting with present participle. So focusing on the male public. So focusing on, got the preposition is correct, and this present participle, focusing on, is really nice. A passive tense here. It can be noted that. So this is a clever passive with a modal verb as well. Can and then be noted. That would be a really good way to score well on the grammatical range and accuracy. So very good sentence there. Next sentence. Even though the following preferred group comprised of horror, drama and animation, which ranged between 63 and 73 viewers, the difference was remarkable. Now, for me, this sentence is a bit confused, and this, I think, needs clarification in order to get our marks for coherence and cohesion as high as possible. So what the student's trying to do here is highlight the gap or compare the difference in numbers between comedy and action genre, which is the most popular for men, and the others, which are horror, drama and animation. So they've said again, I'll read it again, even though the following preferred group comprised of horror, drama and animation, which ranged between 63 and 73 viewers, the difference was remarkable. I think to keep things simple and yet clear, So we're going to get more marks for coherence and cohesion. I would modify this to there was a remarkable difference between these numbers totaling almost 285. So this is the numbers we're referring back to, the numbers for comedy and action. And the next most popular film categories. So lexical resource, we're going to use the word categories instead of genres. And also grammatical range is nice for the superlative. We've got another superlative in there. Most popular film categories of horror, drama and animation, which were enjoyed by 63 and 73 viewers. So we put in a passive tense there. So let me read that to you again. There was a remarkable difference between. So I've put the difference at the beginning of the sentence rather than waiting to get to the end of the sentence before finding the word difference. For me, this works better. There was a remarkable difference between these numbers, totaling 285, and the next most popular film categories of horror, drama and animation, which were enjoyed by between 63 and 73 viewers. Okay, I think that's a bit clearer. So I think for the cohesion and coherence, as we say, that would be nice. Final line in this paragraph, this first paragraph reads, strikingly, romance movies were the least chosen of all, representing almost a fifth that of comedy at 31 spectators. Okay, so I don't know what you think, but I would prefer not to have an adverb like strikingly in task 1. Sounds a bit like Star Wars. It's a great word, but it's too informal, and we need to stick to the facts without really giving opinion. That is a very opinionated adverb there. So I would go romantic. Remember, adjective, romantic, not romance. Romantic movies were liked by only 31 men. So we've got a passive, were liked by only. And we've said liked instead of preferred. So romantic movies were liked by only 31 men compared to comedies, which were 5 times more popular. So we've got our comparison in there compared to comedies. Then we've got a relative clause coming in, which were 5 times more popular. So we're giving more detail about comedies, and we're using 5 times more popular. So again, another comparative structure. So we're getting loads of grammar marks here, relative clause, which is like a complex sentence, and using a comparative structure inside it. So that's looking good. So the final paragraph, so this is the next paragraph with a bit more detail. Turning to female choices, comedy was likewise the favourite genre with 137 viewers. Okay, so no problems here. The word likewise is good, and it skillfully connects this sentence to the information given previously about men. So that would score well for cohesion and coherence. So we like that one. Unlike males, the second preferred type of movie was the romance ones at 116. Regarding the remaining genre, animation, horror, action and drama varied between 54 and 86 with no clear favoritism. Okay, this is another good sentence, but there's a few things we could add. I would change preferred, because we've had preferred and popular quite a lot, to most watched. So unlike males, the second most watched type of movie was the romantic ones. The second most type of movie was the romantic ones. We need that adjective because we don't want to have too much repetition there. And regarding the remaining genre, animation, horror, action and drama varied between 54 and 86 with no clear favoritism. We want the word favourite rather than favoritism. Favoritism is the a noun there. We want the adjective favourite. So popularity of the remaining genre. So, what I was going to do is change the final line. So the popularity of the remaining genre, action, drama, animation and horror vary between 54 and 86 with no clear favourite, although as many women liked comedies and cartoons as men. Although as many women liked comedies and cartoons as men. So I've started with popularity of. So I'm going in for another dependent preposition, popularity of that, instead of regarding. And then I'm using the word favourite, we've said that, and I'm using almost as many. I'm going into my final comparative structure, although, concession there, almost as many women liked comedies and cartoons as men. So what I've done, I've added a final line which links this idea back to the numbers for men in my previous paragraph. So I'm connecting the two paragraphs. I'm also connecting the two areas of data we've been given, which is the men and the women. So for the task achievement, this is really important. We've actually finished doing what we were asked to do. And it's a really nice comparative structure, again, a contrasting comparative structure. Almost as many liked something else as men. Okay, so I hope you'll agree. I think that's a nice way to end. So there we have it. We have reviewed a pretty solid band 6.5 task 1 bar chart essay and added a few upgrades to make it into a band 7. We have looked at lexis. We've looked at a few words we could be using to avoid repetition. We've really worked on the grammar today. We've seen some lovely grammar, and we've added even better grammar to use our comparative structures to show the examiner a range of comparative structures. We've looked at coherence, what we could do just to really make sure that this is very clear, our response. And we've looked at task achievement, so we've made sure just by doing little things like that final line connecting the idea back to men from women, or comparing the two of them rather than just treating the data separately. We've done task achievement because we've compared and contrasted. So I hope you found this useful. If you are struggling with your IELTS preparation and want to get some super friendly professional help, don't forget we can help you. Sign up for our podcasts and emails, which are full of tutorials and guidance. And also you can get involved in the course where we look at task 1, academic and general. We do a lot of essay writing practice. We guide you on how to write these essays in 12 magic sentences. It is a great course. Lots of video modules in there, lots of feedback, essay corrections, both task 1 and task 2, academic and general. So if you have a friend who's also working towards IELTS, then share this podcast with them. And good luck to all of you with all your IELTS preparation, and talk to you soon. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to IELTSPodcast.com.